Hi, my name's Tiffany, and this is The Balanced Life, Redefine Success, Redefine Fail. And on today's video, I'm going to talk about leaving the corners. And unless you're really familiar with the Old Testament of the Bible, the Christian Bible, you may not have even ever heard this term. But in the Old Testament, when God brought the Israelites into the Promised Land, He told them not to harvest everything in their field, but to leave the corners for the widows and the orphans. Leave something for people who, oh, and also for the foreigner who came into the land, to leave something for the person who was struggling to be able to try to bring themselves up to a new level. So let me explain to you what that meant for me and why I incorporated it into my channel. If you go to the channel in the description, you'll see that I mentioned leaving the corners. It came out of one night right around Christmas, New Year's this year, when my husband and I were talking about helping other people and how people get so focused on their lack that they don't look for ways to help other people from their abundance because we only fixate on what we don't have instead of looking at what we do have. And that's a problem all people have. When we were struggling financially, I didn't pay attention to how great my family was. And when the finances got better, I didn't pay attention to how great my marriage was. And, you're just not grateful for the thing that's going well. You don't pay attention to the thing that's going right. And if you don't do that, sometimes, many times, but not all the time, that's one of the things that can fall down because you're not paying attention to that. You're not being grateful. You're not developing that. You're so fixated on trying to fix the pain that you don't take care of the other things. It's like if we have a really bad pain somewhere in our body, we will take so many pills to get rid of that pain that we make ourselves sick. We don't worry that we're trashing our stomach. We just want our leg to stop hurting, or we just want our back to stop hurting. Okay, so that's kind of the thing that we were talking about, is how blessed people that we knew were and how blessed we were and how we could get so caught up in what we didn't have that we forgot to be grateful and share what we did have. So he said the Bible talks about leaving the edges for the poor. And as soon as he said that, he was talking in the context of helping other people. And it really stuck with me, and I wrote that down, leaving the edges. We have an obligation to do what we can to help other people. It's not up to the government. It's not up to organizations. The Bible does say that it's up to the church and the body, but it really points out individuals, especially when you consider it says, leave something for other people. But now look, it says leave. It doesn't say harvest and walk it over to their house, because we need to give people an opportunity to work for themselves and take pride in what they are doing, because people do not appreciate what is given to them. They appreciate what they work for. So I believe in having a system to empower and teach and help people to do what they're trying to do. I do not believe in simply walking over and making things easier for people without having any skin in the game. See, God had a system and a plan to provide for our needs and promises, and to show us how to use these things skillfully to bring increase to us so that we can in turn help other people. So God gave the Israelites land and said, cultivate this land, do this the way I tell you. And when the time comes to gather up the harvest, you give some to me, you give some to the church, you give some to the government, you leave some for the poor, for them to gather and do the same. So when my husband brought this up months later, I was thinking about how empowering it actually was, and that we are never without hope in life. We can improve, and we can never we can never be in a position where we cannot share with other people. We don't have to be abundant, and we don't wait until we win the lottery. We don't wait till we make $100,000 a year or whatever our wait for goal is. When we were dead broke, I wanted to do something to bless somebody else. So there was a family at our church. I would take them between 1 and 4 cans of green beans every month. Maybe why are you taking green beans? Because I had almost nothing, but I wanted to be a blessing to another person. And so that, $1 or $2 little sacrifice, I don't even think they realized what a sacrifice it was for me. They probably thought, why is she giving me green beans? This is pretty funny. Well, I knew they liked green beans. They had boys that were growing, and it was something I could do to be nice. It wasn't because they were needy. So that's the other thing. It's not always about somebody who has the greatest financial need. Sometimes it's about just being nice to somebody else. It's like holding a door open for somebody. You don't have to wait to find somebody who's incapable of opening a door to open the door for them. Just open a door to be nice. So, we can often be impressed with these really big, grand gestures. And so we don't want to do anything unless we can do something big. And I think sometimes it's because we have this need inside of us to like feel like, hey, I did something great. But you know what? I was thinking a couple months ago and telling my husband, I was like, man, I really wanted to donate $1,000 to this one charity. And we don't have the money to do that. And I was beating myself up about it because I was working on a job and I was not making as much money as I wanted to at that point, and basically was criticizing myself. If I was doing better, then within the next few weeks I would have $1,000 and I could use that $1,000 to help this person. And later on that night I was sitting there thinking, and I realized that $85 a month over the next 12 months would be more than $1,000. And I had $85 that I could give to this particular ministry that I wanted to help. It doesn't have the razzmatazz of writing a $1,000 check, but see, that's our flesh. That's just us wanting to feel big and important sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's us wanting to be generous. When we have the money in our account, even if it's going to darn near wipe us out, writing a $1,000 check can make you feel pretty good. When you don't have it, it can become an excuse to do nothing. So you may feel great making that $1,000 donation, but instead making $85 or 40 something a paycheck, 12 months straight has more. It comes in over $1,000. So if you're not willing to do that with something that you have, consider what your motives were. Was it really wanting to be generous or wanting to be impressive? So leaving the corners and the balanced life is about small changes to make a big difference, but it's also about looking for the excess in your life that you can use to help someone else, leaving those corners. The farmers did not need to have those corners in order to have all they needed with some left over. By leaving those corners, they were helping others. And there's a really cool story in the book of Ruth, where it talks about Ruth and Naomi, and Ruth was a gleaner, and it ended up resulting in her marrying a wealthy man and being a direct descendant of King David, who later was Jesus was a direct descendant of David. So she's in the lineage of Jesus. And that came from gleaning. That was the point of that. But what can you use? What is something small you have to help someone else? Whether it's a smile, some canned goods like I did. Maybe you can give somebody a couple hours of babysitting to help out. Maybe a genuine word of encouragement or gratitude. You will always have lack in some area of your life. There's never going to be a time in your life where absolutely everything is perfect. And if it is, wait 24 to 48 hours. There will be something that will happen. And that's not being fatalistic. It's just, that's the way life is. We live in a dynamic world where things are happening all the time. And if we focus on the negative, we can find reasons to be negative. And likewise, if we focus on the positive, we can find reasons to be positive. So focus on being grateful and generous with what you have today, and don't wait for some way out there goal to be met before you start doing something. Leaving the corners is about not taking everything for yourself, but leaving some of the positivity in life, some of the blessings that you have for other people out there. All right, I hope you got something out of this and that you better understand the goals of this channel. I would love to hear some ideas that you have on ways that we can help people, the ways that we can leave the corners and things that we can do to contribute positively to the world around us. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.